foundation of how we do business, and they're also embedded in our products. Trailhead, our free online learning platform, nurtures and builds lifelong learners, which is welcome back. Where'd you guys go? Welcome to working from home. I mean, this is real. That's how you know this is live. So thanks for coming back. And let's jump back in. Salesforce's values are the foundation of how we do business, and they're also embedded in our products. Trailhead, our free online learning platform, nurtures and builds lifelong learners, which is fundamental to innovation. Equality is woven into the DNA of Trailhead as we provide free access to anyone who wants to learn skills for the new norm. And our guest today, Standard Bank CEO Sim Tshabalala, gets it. See, Standard Bank, Africa's biggest lender by assets, will be able to build a single source of truth across the entire customer journey and respond quickly to changing customer needs with the power of the Customer 360. And they know that part of the digital imperative is empowering employees with new skills, something they are doing with Trailhead. Sim is leading by example. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk as he's risen to the ranks of Rangers, and he's not stopping anytime soon. 20,000, that's right, 20,000 Trailhead Rangers is his goal. Sim knows that reskilling has never been more crucial, and that's why he's so invested in Trailhead. Whether you're looking to transform your career or empower your employees to upskill at your company, Trailhead democratizes access to learning for all. Good morning. I'm Leah McGowan Hare, and welcome to another one of our live weekly conversations as part of our Leading Through Change series, a chance for you to hear from leaders across the world who are doing their best to get through these challenging times and support their communities. Now, before I hand it over to today's host, Salesforce President and Chief Revenue Officer, Gavin Patterson, I want to preview the next hour. Gavin had the chance to sit down earlier with Standard Bank CEO Sim Tshabalala to talk about how he is transforming his company from bank into a broader platform company that is there for its customers' major life moments. Now, when we'll then dive into a live demo highlighting the power of Marketing Cloud's Social Studio. And finally, we'll get to hear the smooth sounds of a special performance by LT Smooth. Now, as we do every week on Leading Through Change, we want to help those who need it the most. Millions of people already rely on the United Nations World Food Program for the food they need to survive. And let's be real, COVID-19 is making conditions even worse. Now, this pandemic could double the number of people suffering from severe hunger by the end of the year. Now, to help prevent a hunger pandemic, the World Food Program is scaling up to reach 138 million people across 83 countries with life-saving support. If you can, please go to salesforce.com/WFP and joining us in ensuring the world's most vulnerable people have enough to eat during this critical time. Through September 30th, Salesforce will be matching donations up to $150,000. Again, that's salesforce.com/WFP. Now, with that, it is my pleasure to welcome our host for today, Gavin Patterson.
Thank you so much, Leah. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Leading Through Change is all about how we can learn from each other and in particular, lead through challenging times. This has been a disruptive year for many industries, including financial services. And our guest today knows all about that. But he also knows a lot about turning disruption into positive change and opportunity. So I'm delighted today to have Sim Tshabalala, who is the Group CEO of Standard Bank, a South African financial services company based in Johannesburg. They also happen to be Africa's largest lender by assets. It's an incredible Salesforce customer, and Sim is an inspiring leader and a visionary as well. So Sim, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Gavin.
Now, you have a fascinating story to tell us about, and a very, very big job. But I'd love to start with telling us a little bit about yourself. We're all keen to know a little bit about how you've developed yourself as an individual, where you've come from. You're definitely somebody who could be a citizen of the world. So tell us about yourself.
Gavin, thank you ever so much for this real lovely privilege, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. It's really wonderful to be with you today. About me, you could say that I'm a South African, I'm Zulu, I'm an Anglican, a Presbyterian, if you like. I grew up in Soweto, which is just to the southwest of Johannesburg. I studied at the University of Notre Dame. I'm an amateur cook, and I'm the father of two lovely, lovely, and brilliant daughters. But I think there are three things that I'd like to underscore in answer to your question. The first one is that I'm rural born, as I said to you. Grew up in Soweto during the dying days of apartheid, during really, really difficult times. As a consequence, I think I have an abiding, a really deep commitment to economic and human development of our beloved continent, Africa. And indeed, as the Nobel Prize winning economist Amartya Sen famously puts it, development is freedom, and I believe that fundamentally. Second, having gone to Catholic schools, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, and then at high school at a school called Sacred Heart College here in Johannesburg, which is run by the Marist brothers, a great Catholic school. I believe deeply in Jesuit principles of leadership and management, which I've picked up over the years, and there's a lovely book on the Jesuits that summarizes there are 4 principles of leadership. The first one being heroism, by which they mean you must have the courage to do more and aim extremely high, rather like Salesforce does, really aim high. Secondly, the principle of indifference, that you should not be too attached to places, people, or things, but you should be able to move very quickly in order to achieve your goals. This they refer to as living with one foot raised. I think the third principle here is love, just a deep reverence for humanity. And then lastly, self-awareness, constantly checking up on yourself and making sure that you're meeting your plans and your objectives. And working for Standard Bank Group has been a real privilege for me. I've spent the bulk of my career working for this fantastic institution, which I love. Thank you, Gavin.
Well, it's been great to get to know you a little bit over the last few months through our video calls and to get to understand a little bit more about what Standard Bank does. And I certainly have been really impressed at the vision that you've had for the business and the scope of the bank, but in particular, how you're a values-driven business. And I'm sure everybody watching today would be really interested in learning more about that. So tell us more about how you think about the bank and how you see values being at the forefront of your strategy.
Gavin, that's terrific. First of all, Standard Bank Group is the largest financial institution on the African continent by assets. It is a huge organization. We employ 50,000 people in 20 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. And those businesses or those countries make up roughly 75% of Africa's GDP, sub-Saharan Africa's GDP. We have the privilege of being responsible for $140 billion worth of assets. Now, it may be small in your world, but by African standard, it is vast. It's
pretty big to me.
We offer a comprehensive set of products and services ranging for individuals right across to corporates and governments. We have a retail banking business, a wholesale banking business, wealth business, insurance, and asset management. We're also an old institution. The business was founded in 1862. And Gavin, behind you is a lovely picture of a jersey, which makes reference to a football club that I will not mention, but I will mention Standard Chartered, which appears there. And Standard Chartered actually was a shareholder of the Standard Bank Group up until the mid-1980s.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
It's an old and deeply rooted institution on the African continent. And in fact, the business was founded in a town called Port Elizabeth by sheep merchants, not by bankers, but by sheep merchants who wanted to offer intermediation services to the farmers, to the merchants. They linked the business up with European and English buyers and sellers who were deeply involved in the Industrial Revolution. So it's an old institution with deep roots. Those early days, in my view, Gavin, continue to shape our culture and who we are. We're not in finance simply for finance's sake. We have a higher calling. We're a real economy financial institution. I mean, as you would think about it in the UK, we're a high street bank, or Main Street, if you think about it in US terms. And we're also a relationship bank. Relationships to us are deep. And we find and we believe that they're the essence of what we do. I also have to say that building a relationship with Salesforce has actually been quintessential of what we stand for, I have to say to you. And it's been very easy for us. And you ought to ask why. And I would say to you, it is because our values mirror one another and they chime. So, for example, your Ohana culture fits identically, perfectly with our principles of Ubuntu, which Ubuntu means humanity. I am who I am because of you. The essence of, humanity is the human relations between individuals, communities, and indeed the cosmos. Very, very similar to what you believe in. Ohana says we take care of each other. This is what we do with Ubuntu. So your core values of trust, customer success, innovation, and equality and equity are identical to our principles that revolve around integrity, placing clients at the center of what we do, and becoming a truly human and truly digital organization. Thanks, Gavin.
That was interesting you said that, because one of the things that struck me as we got to know each other over the last few months and finalized the deal was, the conversation always started with values. It always started by talking about what was important to ourselves and the companies we work for. And I think that's one of the things that's, certainly from my perspective, has really drawn us together and gives me great confidence that we will be able to help, I think, support you on your mission, because I think we're very aligned with what you believe in.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about disruption. If there's one industry that is, I think, taking disruption head on at the moment and feeling the effects of it, it's financial services. I'm really keen to hear your take on that, and particularly the impact it's having from a competition perspective.
Well, Gavin, I think the changes happening in financial services are mind-boggling and they're mind-blowing. We're getting very, very strong messages from the investment community, from the stock market, and indeed from the market for financial services. If you just think about what the market is saying to us, we think it's saying, firstly, it pays to be a platform provider. Absolutely. I think secondly, what the market is telling us is that it pays to be a digital leader, and that the market clearly believes that the largest and strongest firms will definitely do the best post this crisis, this 1 in 100 year pandemic that we are experiencing. And having said that, allow me, if I may, to be so bold as to congratulate you, Gavin, and Salesforce for entering the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Yet another clear message, I believe, from the stock market. Really lovely story. The message is equally clear from people who are looking to enter the market of financial services. We know David Marcus, the CEO of Calibra, has been very articulate about what is possible in emerging markets and in payments. I had a look at the website of ING, the famous Dutch bank, the BEMA, the huge European bank. And if one reads how they describe themselves, it sounds almost like a tech company. They describe themselves very much as a platform business and the ecosystem curator. And so this is what the market is telling us. This is what competitors are telling us. And it therefore makes sense that the competitive landscape is well mapped. And it seems to us that our strategic situation is very clear. We have to become a platform and ecosystem provider too, in order to defend ourselves, or else we will become a back office generating thin margins and become quickly irrelevant.
I'd like to sort of explore that a little bit more, if I may, Sim. You want to move from being seen as a banking provider to one that's a platform business, and I think, to use your term, one that's future ready is the term that I've heard you use in the past. Can you tell us what a sort of platform business means in your mind? Give us a sense of what that will look like.
So, Gavin, in fact, the best place to start actually is in ancient history. You know, the first banks made their appearance roughly 4,000 years ago in Babylon. And the word bank simply means a platform or a bench on which people would bring cash or jewels to the money changer or money lender at the temple or in the market, in the Roman Forum. And the roots of the word bank actually are exactly that, banca, which means a platform, a sturdy platform. In essence, then, to be a platform for us as a financial institution is bringing together buyers, sellers, importers, exporters, people who require excess cash in order to make payments, people who are importing goods, people who are exporting goods, and to do that on our infrastructure, and for us to govern the relationships that exist between the various buyers and sellers. And that, in a sense, to us, it seems, is precisely what we've done as a bank from time immemorial, but to pivot and do it properly, rather than simply be a seller of products, to be a coordinator of relationships, which is something that I think we are good at as a financial institution. And so we think of ourselves then in that context as a digital platform provider and ecosystem curator. We think of it by using the analogy of a shopping mall. In this sense, we say that we intend to be a mall. We want to own the mall as well as having our own shop in the mall. So we will own the mall, but we'll also have our own shop there. But we also think that all other goods and services that our clients are likely to need, we need to be able to help them to acquire those goods and products. And in that case, we'll make sure that these services are safely, conveniently, and reliably available in our mall. And we will, of course, collect rent from our tenants in return for the space and services that we provide. I think your products and services and our relationship with you, in my view, puts us in a great position to be able to do precisely that. We can mention many examples of where we're already doing that. The one example is a proposition called One Farm, which we're providing to our clients in Uganda, which is in East Africa. And these are exciting things, things that we normally would not have thought of as bankers 5 to 10 years ago. And as you can hear, and as I say, the capacities which you have as Salesforce are crucial in helping us to become this platform or ecosystem curator.
And tell us more about how your technology choices help you realize your vision, and obviously particularly Salesforce.
The technology choices in this context are about, are the people that we're going to acquire these technologies from people who we're able to partner with? Are they people who share our values? Are they people who share our vision? Do they put us in a position to meet our purpose, which is Africa is our home, we drive our growth? What is the nature of the products and services that they have? Are they able to help us create new value for clients, particularly clients on the African continent? Will they help us to become this large mall that is occupying an important place in Africa?
And personalization is key to realizing this vision, isn't it, Sim? Tell us more about how you're realizing that aspect of the vision.
I think it's very, very important that the millions of customers that we already have in our base need to be able to feel that we know them, that we are using tools and capabilities that allow us to know their needs when they arise, that we are present at each of their life journeys, whether it be the acquisition of a home, a health issue, a young child being sent to school or to university. And we need to be able to have tools and skills that help us to identify those needs and help our clients meet those needs. And I would say to you that the various tools and instruments that are available with Salesforce give us the ability to service our clients at the right time, 24 hours a day, at a time when it's most convenient for those clients.
I want to talk about Trailhead, Sim. We have been absolutely blown away by your commitment to Trailhead. We found it extraordinarily inspiring how you've set the ambition for 20,000 colleagues across Standard Bank to become Rangers. Tell us why that's so important to you.
So, Gavin, first of all, I have to brag, if you don't mind. I was tempted to wear it, but
I'd love to see you wear it.
Yeah, I was going to wear it, but it's quite hot today, so I thought I wouldn't. And I wanted to look a little bit more like a banker, so that your colleagues and staff would believe that actually I am a banker. So I have to look reasonably respectable, as somebody that you would be happy to place your deposit with. But I think why is this important to us? To be blunt, Gavin, this is an enormous investment for us. The investment in this partnership is enormous. It goes to the heart of what we need to become, as we said, wanting to be future ready and be competitive, pivot and become far more competitive than we've been over the last decade. And so becoming this platform business is absolutely central to our strategy. Therefore, our relationship with you, with Salesforce, is crucial. I can't emphasize it more than that. And to make the most of the investment, we believe that Standard Bank people need to understand what Salesforce offers. And it can't just be a small handful of techies. We want it to be ubiquitous. It has to be as many of the 50,000 people who work for us as is reasonably practical. And I'll take it even further. Even our partners outside the relationship with Salesforce have to understand. Our clients have to understand and be able to take advantage of what is on offer here. As I say, I mean, it was a real privilege for me to become a Ranger. I worked very hard, but I'm delighted I did, because I know what's on offer. I also know indeed what the challenges and what the pitfalls are, but I know what the massive opportunities are. And we have roughly 860 Rangers so far. It's early days. You know, we're not anywhere near where Salesforce is at 20,000. But we got 858 Rangers. We got 9,000 active Trailhead users, and that number grows every day throughout the countries where we operate. Collectively, we've scored 83 million points, and believe you me, we will get more. We're inspired by you. I wish I could stand here one day and say that we've got more Rangers than Salesforce. It's a dream, but I know that it won't come true, but we'll try. We'll try very hard. And Trailhead really, really is fantastic. It's accessible, it's friendly, it's written in plain and simple English, it's gamified, and the learning there is just vast. I'm still blown over by what one is able to learn. In fact, there's an email that I received from a guy who was a skeptic. I must tell you this. He's now got 180,000 points. Wow. And his email to me is typical. 180,000, not a mistake.
That's incredible.
Quite incredible. And his email to me is typical of the emails I'm getting from my colleagues. He said something like, "Thank you very much, Sim, for leading the importance of Trailhead and leading by example. It's not often that we get the privilege to test drive the tech that we purchase. I'm convinced that well thought through development and deployment of Salesforce as an asset beyond business as usual will in turn create a sustainable competitive advantage." So my colleagues, Gavin, are telling me that having gone through this experience on Trailhead, they believe it'll improve the customer experience and it will improve the market positioning of Standard Bank. What more could one ask for?
Yeah, it's truly inspiring. And we take your challenge to see whether or not you can have more Trailheads than Salesforce. But it's a fantastic example for us to use with other organizations we're working with around the world. I think you've really set the benchmark in this area. So. I want to move on and talk about the company's vision, which you mentioned earlier. Africa is our home. We drive her growth. There's a beautiful simplicity and punchiness to it. Can you share some of your thoughts on how success could be a large beacon of light for the entire region of Africa.
Well, Gavin, Africa is our home. We drive her growth. If you ask me what gets me excited, what do I wake up dreaming about it? It is what contribution I and my colleagues are making to the development of our beloved continent. And in that context, we deeply committed to promoting sustainable human and economic development in Africa. And in one sense, we're really pushing against an open door. This is already happening. Many countries where we operate, particularly in the East Coast, are already growing and developing very fast. And so our contribution is to make them grow even faster. In the middle of this crisis, the East African countries are not going to go into recession, largely because of the policies and the rational implementation of policies that has been effected in East Africa. And Africa, as you know, Gavin, has got a formidable demographic. The demographic dividend is incredible. And the potential is just vast. It is vast, particularly in an aging world. And I do think that people with a vision, people like us and yourselves working together, can do something quite special on the continent as the continent develops. And particularly as we take advantage of this fantastic demographic dividend. And we are aligned as far as this goes. I'm really looking forward to achieving this vision in partnership with Salesforce.
And so we are too. So just as I wrap up things today, any final thoughts you'd like to share with us?
Well, Gavin, I think you've asked me a wide range of questions. I think all I can do is really underscore a couple of the points I've made. The first one is we love being your partners. We are delighted, and long may this partnership last. Notice I'm not using vendor, buyer, and seller language. I'm talking about a partnership, a relationship where value is going to be created and we're going to add enormous value together. That's the first one. The second, I think we can make a massive difference on the African continent. And we can see it in our lifetime. This is why this is so exciting. And finally, I want to thank you ever so much. Really, really thank you for having me today. And I love the opportunity to have compared Salesforce Ohana with Standard Bank Ubuntu.
Thank you, Sim. It's been a real privilege to get to know you personally. And I'm very excited about the opportunities that we have to work together, not just over the next few months, but over the next few years. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we're going to do great things together. And so thank you today. And with that, I'm going to hand back to Leah.
Thank you, Gavin. And thank you, Sim. What an inspirational story. Sim, your story is amazing. And then, we're looking forward to that challenge of getting more Trailhead Rangers in Salesforce. Bring it on. Let's do it. The more Rangers, the better. Now, I'm excited to hand it off to my colleague, Lee Price, Marketing Cloud's very own Senior Product Marketer Manager, to talk about Social Studio.
Thanks, Leah. I am so excited to be here live from Austin, Texas, to show you the power of Social Studio. Now, more than ever, companies need to be listening to their customers. In order to be successful, every company in every industry, whether it's financial services, consumer goods, manufacturing, it doesn't matter. They all need to put their customers at the center of everything. And Social Studio does just that. Let's see how. We're going to start with a social listening dashboard. And let's say I'm working in a grocery chain's digital marketing team here in Texas. I'm particularly interested in the changing needs of customers related to curbside pickup during COVID-19. I've plugged in some keywords related to this topic to understand what customers are saying. So here on the left side of the screen, I can see a live feed of all the social posts mentioning these keywords, very handy for real-time reaction. I can also see volume across different channels. If we look at reviews, I can filter by 1-star or 5-star reviews to see what themes are present. This is very helpful for getting insight into competitors as well. Next, I can look at discussion over time and hone in on peaks in conversation to understand what's getting people talking. If I click on this peak in discussion, I can see discussion on a parenting forum about the unique needs and concerns of pregnant mothers and curbside pickup. Going back to the dashboard, I can also see influencers to partner with to get the word out and the top words that are being mentioned on this topic. Any unexpected or unusual words are often a source of insight here. As a grocery chain, this is where I'd start to see words like toilet paper bubble up if that's what's top of mind for consumers. So as we see these top words pop up, I can see people are talking about things like masks, restaurant curbside, and opening hours for curbside pickup. Now, if we go back to the dashboard, of course, I can measure sentiment in real time for any topic. Another great source of insights is any peak in discussion where negative sentiment rises above positive sentiment. So now we've seen an example of a topic with a dashboard. Let's start digging into social data for insights with workbenches. You can see there's lots of ways to analyze the data. We'll start with volume trends. By clicking on a peak in discussion, I can continue honing in on that data. Let's look at the top words for this peak in conversation to get a quick overview of what people were saying on this day. Looks like groceries were a top topic here. And I can also see people discussing curbside versus home delivery for groceries as some of the other top keywords that are popping up here. This is a great way to get a very quick overview of what people were saying at a moment in time. So I wonder what the sentiment looks like for mentions of curbside compared to delivery. So let's open up a sentiment chart for curbside and another sentiment chart for delivery as well. That way we can compare them side by side. So we'll wait for those charts to open up. And it looks like people have slightly higher positive sentiment for grocery delivery compared to curbside. So let's go back and look at all sentiment for all mentions of curbside over the month. I can see this is around 64% positive. I want to help our customers by seeing what's working and what's not working. So I'm going to open up all the images being posted in positive sentiment posts. When I look at this in detail, I can even sort by influence level to see what those influential accounts are saying. Looks like there's some news being shared about the explosion in the popularity of curbside. Maybe my PR team could get involved there. And I can also see the American Red Cross discussing a curbside baby shower. Maybe that's a content marketing topic I can use with the mums-to-be that I saw earlier in the dashboard. Now let's hone in on negative sentiment. Maybe this is varying from location to location. It looks like this is generating the most negative discussion in Houston. So I'm going to make a note to investigate the root cause of this further. Finally, let's look at the websites people are mentioning most frequently in any posts referencing curbside. It looks like the Austin Independent School District's food service message is really resonating. It's getting shared frequently. Perhaps this is something I can bear in mind with community support when I'm talking about my brand. So with all these social insights, I can already see that grocery delivery is generating more positive sentiment than curbside. So I'm going to include that option front and center in my next email send. We already publish social posts about our community outreach efforts, but I can see that speaking more about how we're already helping local schools will really resonate. I've also uncovered some potential audiences I can speak to with targeted messages, the expecting mums, and addressing those concerns that we saw locally at Houston. So that's an overview of how we can dive very deep into social data for actionable insights around our brand in real time. And that's just the start. Listening is just one part of how you can build amazing social customer experiences with Social Studio. You'll find more details on the Salesforce website. Now back to you, Leah.
Thank you, Lee. That was great. Now, if you're inspired and you want to learn more about Marketing Cloud, Trailhead, and the Customer 360 platform, check out this trail mix at sfdc.co/TSB. Once again, sfdc.co/TSB. Now, before we bring in our next guest, LT Smooth, for a very special performance, those of you watching on Twitter should switch over now to Salesforce Live so you don't miss it. So that link is salesforce.com/live. Again, salesforce.com/live. Come on over. We'll be waiting for you. See you momentarily. Thanks for joining us on Salesforce Live. Now, are you ready? Are you really ready to get swept away to the islands with the smooth sounds of LT Smooth? It is my pleasure to bring them in. Take us away, LT.
I like the way sparkling earrings lay against your skin is so brown, and I wanna sleep with you in the desert tonight, with a billion stars all around. I've got a peaceful, easy feeling. I know you won't let me down, because I'm already standing on the ground. I found out a long time ago what a woman can do to your soul. Hey, but she can't take you anywhere. Don't already know how to go. I've got a peaceful, easy feeling. I know you won't let me down, because I'm already standing on the ground. This feeling, I may know you as a lover, as a friend. His voice keeps whispering in my ear, tell me I'm may never see you again. I've got a peaceful, easy feeling. I know you won't let me down, because I'm always standing, because I'm already standing, because I'm already standing on the ground. Through the years, God has brought us this far and blessed us with the memories we hold. Through the good times and the bad, and the happiest times and the sad. For you I'm more than a memory. You are a gift that God gave to me, and I thank God with all my heart for the love that you gave and the Father that you are. Looking forward to the years to come, we know not who or what lies ahead, but this we do know from our hearts. And in life God gave you a special part. For you are more than a memory. You are a gift that God gave to me, and I thank God with all my heart for the love that you gave and the Father that you are. Through the years, God has brought us this far and has blessed us with the memories we hold. Through the good times and the bad, and the happiest times and the sad. For you are more than a memory. You are a gift that God gave to me, and I thank God with all my heart for the love that you gave and the Father that you are. For you are more than a memory. You are a gift that God gave to me, and I thank God
Oh man, I was just transported to a happy, beautiful place. And it's real. I'm here. Thank you, LT. That was amazing. And thank you all for joining us today. Now, you can find more of our Leading Through Change stories at salesforce.com/blog. Now, before we wrap up, one more reminder to join us in making sure millions of people worldwide do not go hungry during this crisis. If you can, please go to salesforce.com/WFP and join us in helping this organization. Through September 30th, 2020, Salesforce will match donations up to $150,000. Again, that's salesforce.com/WFP. Now we'll be back with our next Leading Through Change this Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific with the story of how Siemens keeps innovating after over 150 years as the original trailblazers. You don't want to miss this one. Now, until then, please take care of yourself and each other.
Sales Cloud lets you build business resilience and create growth with the world's #1 trusted sales solution. First, as a business leader, you can easily get insight into your business so you know where to focus your efforts and make decisions based on market changes. You can visualize and redistribute your customer territories, shifting your sales coverage to meet changing market demand. Then quickly update sales processes to adapt to change with drag-and-drop tools and scale to sales reps instantly. So your sales team develops the new skills they need based on proven best practices, allowing your team to work more efficiently from anywhere. Also, sales reps can manage deals from a single workspace and track every customer interaction from a single source of truth, the Customer 360, powered by AI to boost productivity and guide deals forward, while configuring the deal to meet every customer need with flexible pricing, terms, and payment methods. Lastly, scale your business through partners, bringing them up to speed quickly so they can start to close deals just as fast. Quickly adapt and build business resilience and growth from anywhere with Sales Cloud.
Talk, let's have conversations in the dark. World is sleeping, I'm awake with you. With you. Watch movies that we both already seen. I ain't even looking at the screen, it's true. I got my eyes on you. And you say that you're not worthy. You get hung up on your flaws, but in my eyes you are perfect as you are. I won't ever try to change you, change you. I will always want the same you, same you. Swear on everything I pray to.